Hello, my name is Kim John, and this is my science fair project. Wanted to study how COVID-19 has affected the physical activity levels of teenagers because during quarantine, businesses were closing, especially schools and gyms and places that would breathe a lot and be around a lot of people on a day-to-day basis. So teenagers would have had way less opportunities to be around people, go places. They were all stuck in their homes, either doing nothing in the summer, like occasionally going outside, or in school, sitting at a computer, looking at it, doing nothing. So I planned on using the International Physical Activity Questionnaire long form because I had seen it in some of the other studies that I had looked at, but those studies focused on like larger age ranges of like 18 to 80 or like middle age only. And but those were all in other countries as well. So I wanted to figure out what happens here at the local level in my age group of teenagers to see if they also struggled, because I know I struggled with keeping up with my physical activity because I wasn't on my cross country team wasn't meeting, and it was way hard, and my sisters went to college and I was way harder to like find inspiration to do things. But yeah, I originally planned to send out that survey to my modified survey to my local high school that I attend, but our principal was a little busy with back to school plans and then setbacks in those. And it was just a cycle of he responded, but not with that much information. And I tried to reply back and he never responded again. It was hard. But after that, I decided to change my focus and go to my morning school that has multiple different high schools at it. So it was a variety of students, but it was the same ish age range. It knocked out the freshmen and sophomores, but I still got a 16 to 18 age range. So just like 14 and 15-year-olds were knocked out. But as I suspected, my results did show that there was a decrease in physical activity. My charts will show you this. So at work, vigorous physical activity, the people that didn't do any did decrease. So people did start doing some more work, but there was also a decrease in just how many days they worked and how much they worked. This was probably due to the closures of stores and businesses, especially small ones. But once they got back into the swing of things, like they probably progressively added more people and were able to go back to work. But some people were fired or their business is closed. And then I also saw that some people got jobs because they were of age after quarantine, but not before. So that was a factor. So this, for moderate, it shows about the same thing, where there's an increase in some, but a decrease in like how much. There's definitely less, but there is more people doing at least a little. And walking at work, there was a basically decrease in everything. Traveling, no one really bikes in this area because it's not really safe to bike. The bike trails are really small, so you can't really go anywhere on your bike. You can bike on purpose within like your neighborhood or on trails, but the roads aren't really safe for that. But walking, there was an increase in people who did nothing. So walking to travel, people didn't have anywhere to go, so that they didn't walk to places. So there was a lot of decrease in the people walking places and an increase in people doing no walking. And housework activities, these are all probably like farm chores because I only surveyed on vigorous activities, because housework, you don't really do it for like 10 minutes at a time or more. But vigorous activities you might. But still, there was like none in the first place. Walking in leisure time did increase. Less people were doing nothing, but there was a decrease in how many people were doing it. In the mid range, it was like people increased a little bit in the like the 3 days a week, and then a little at the 7 days a week. So if you walked around, like walked your dog because you had nothing to do, that did increase. But moderate activity and vigorous activity decreased a lot. More people were doing nothing probably because their sports and gyms were closed. So the motivation attached to those also went away. But what I found interesting was that the cardio and versus weights and things like that, like sports activities and things that use equipment, decreased, and people just went from doing that to not doing anything, or like doing stretching or something. So cardio was a really good one that mostly maintained, where people still did that activity after quarantine. Some people increased their levels of activity, some people decreased the range of activities, but mostly it was weights and sports activities like basketball, wrestling, and swimming that decreased a lot, but ones that you could do any day, like walk outside your door and do, or possibly just do even inside your house, stayed about the same. So what this shows is that people need to encourage their children to try a wide variety of sports and activities, and not just go to the gym, or not just run, or not just swim, because you never know when that activity will end or the gym will close and you won't have access to those facilities and resources. So you want to be able to have versatility in your ability, so you're more likely to do at least one of them. And also, in general, people need to find lasting ways to motivate themselves, and teachers and parents need to find a way to motivate their students and help them find their own motivation, because what's going to bring them throughout their life help is for them to continue it on their own. That was my research project. I hope you enjoyed and found the results interesting, and hope you have a great day. Thank you.